Alright, guys, can you hear me? Alright, guys. I'm gonna be talking about. Alright, so this is my first new series. I'm still gonna continue with Yapcast. I just kind of want to talk about the government low key because, well, I'm in a. I'm in the LGBTQ community, and I'm a minority, so I have to get a bit political on here. Um, But low-key, I've been having like shower thoughts about the government, and I feel like over-consumerism has been like driving us mentally to the point where it's like a scam to keep us distracted by the real world shit because um the president has been trying to hide stuff, and like that one picture, that one slave who was like being whipped and stuff. I can't show it here because it's too explicit, and YouTube TOS will just flat out like ban me. But there's a picture of this like slave, um, who has like whips on his back. Yeah, I'm talking about that. And it's that picture specifically where Donald Trump is trying to keep away from history. So it's like if Donald Trump is doing this, right, and the government's approving it, or it's being passed to the government, what else are they actually trying to hide from us? Because they're hiding away actual history that's not being taught. Like how for example, a lot of the American school systems are built with a communist system where, right, where it trying to think of a word, it like tries to make everything equal because when you're normally taught about slavery, right, that's like I think like fourth, fifth grade normally on average would they would do that. I could be wrong. Maybe sixth grade, because I don't know if they teach it during. I think they bring it up during elementary school, and then they teach about it like during middle school. Let me search it up. When do most teachers teach about? Yeah. So between elementary and middle school, right? Because obviously when you are younger, right, your brain has more ability more ability to learn about something, and it you are more now influenced by that same information and knowledge, right? That's what I'm trying to say. So slavery is so explicit in history that like people don't even really like I mentioned, the American schools do not talk about it. Do not talk about how extreme it is. And it's probably like that for every other country. I don't know if it is, but from what I know in America, they are not. Cuz like I feel like it's common sense now that literally every other American school does not talk about how extreme slavery was. And they don't. And it's so weird because, like, what's the point of talking about slavery if you're not going to talk about how extreme it was? They don't talk about they don't talk about the forced breeds. They don't talk about literally anything else. Like they don't talk about like how bad slaves had to go through. They just talk about how slavery is bad. And that's what's so wrong with it, because we should be knowing about what slavery is, and then we should be taught more about it, about how extreme it is, like during middle school or something like that. Because by that time we already By the time most schools have already taught like sex ed and all those other stuff. So it's like now know how bad slavery was now in that time period, because I don't think you should be talking about how explicit slavery was to like elementary schoolers, right? Like you should never do that, right? What I'm trying to say is that you should talk about how extreme it was from, let's say, like, I think 8th grade to high school, okay? Because that's when most, I think that's when most, because like now teenagers teenagers that older can now comprehend and have the maturity mindset to understand and comprehend most severe things. So it's so what I'm trying to get here with that is that the American school system is a scam. Okay? Okay? That's what I've been trying to say. It's a scam. Everything is a scam. Everything produced and over-consumerized by individuals in this economical system is all a scam. It's all a scam. It's just to keep us distracted. Taxes, bills, rent, all of that shit. Literally everything is just to keep us distracted. They want money. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. Money. They want money. Okay? And one of the first few examples I can think of over-consumerism in this economical society, the biggest example would be Labubus. Okay? I have Labubu. Okay? I'm gonna start off with that right now. Because this shit is to test us. Okay? Now, I have a video in the works, well, not a video in the works, sorry, a script in the works, talking about Labubus. I originally didn't want to talk about it first, because, you know, like, I thought Labubus was just a trend, it's gonna die down in, like, a month. But it's been, like, 2-3-ish months now, and they won't stop being brought up. So, unfortunately, I am running out of content. I'm running out of content ideas, and I kind of need to talk about this. So that is what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about Labubus, and I'm going to be making a script talking about Labubus and the over-consumerism, and how impactful this over-consumerism is a huge impact on the economical chain, because of government. I might briefly mention that in my YouTube video because I want to get it taken down. But I'm also going to be reacting to a video talking about Labubu history. And I want you guys to watch it with me, you know, react with me and stuff. Just to see how it is, okay? And, yeah. I'm also going to be making another live stream after this, so most likely, most likely will. I'm just kind of bored. I have nothing else to do, low-key. I might, like, stream myself playing Roblox in another stream. Spoiler alert. Just cause, like, it's so funny. I also had another idea that I really wanted to do, but I don't even know if I can do it anymore, just simply because it's just, like, I was thinking of doing, like, a Pony Town video, but like a Ponytown trolling video, but I mean, I might be able to, but you know, I just want to have silly content out there for you guys, and I want you guys to have fun with me on my journey as a VTuber. So, I have the video you guys saw in the beginning, so I'm gonna just pull this off like a band-aid. Let me try singing. Um, wrong tab. Whoopsie. I'm trying to think. Sorry. Okay. Wait. Maybe you got something in your nose. Sniffing that K. Did you feel the hole? Did you feel the hole? You probably found peace to herself. New boyfriend. I can feel the boy. Alright. I'm gonna play this and yeah. Let me know if you guys can hear this because I can't.
What the is a labubu?
Someone said on that video that is what a French person calls an injury. Labubu. But seriously, what is a labubu? I mean, have you guys also started seeing these creepy gremlin dolls everywhere? In stores, online, hanging from people's bags? These plush toy monsters that are popping up everywhere are called labubus, and I had no clue what they were until you guys started commenting about them in my recent video on the downfall of Stanley Cups. For some reason, I had read the word labubu in comment sections before, but I thought it was a type of dress that was sold at Lululemon. It wasn't until you guys started telling me to make a video about the rise of labubus that I finally Googled them and I saw this. Since then, I have had so many labubu videos pop up on my feed, including this one where people shared how much money they have spent on a single labubu doll. $130, $100.
That is actually fucking insane. Also, let me just say this right here, right now. The average price of Labubu would be like somewhere between like $100 to like somewhere near $100 to like 1,000, I think. And I think usually those that usually cost like around like $100 or less are just like what do you call them? Like fake ones. And it's like these are so overpriced for no fucking reason. It's actually insane. From what I've understood, these were originally meant to be alt. Like the boobos were originally were meant to be alt, and now people just find them demonic and stuff for no reason, just because they simply look weird. But the whole point of that is because it's for alternative fashion. That's really just it. So yeah.
$325. As a reminder, this is how much folks are spending on a single one of these dolls. So what gives? Why are these weird little dolls suddenly everywhere? Especially when so many people who love Labubus admit to thinking that they were really creepy at first. I say let's talk about it. Let's talk about what caused the insane rise of Labubu dolls, the psychology behind our obsession with collecting trinkets like them, and whether Labubus have any chance of really lasting in our culture that is obsessed with micro trends. So let's start with the very rise of Labubu dolls and how it happened. Also, before we even go there, what are these things? For those who don't know, Labubu dolls are small collectible figures made by the Chinese toy company Pop Mart. They're part of a larger art toy universe and were designed by artist Ka-Sing Lung, whose characters tend to lean into a mischievous, offbeat type, thus the nightmarish, toothy smile that these Labubus have. And despite looking like an Ewok had a child with a Furby in the Smile cinematic universe, Labubus have gained a massive following, especially among Gen Z. According to Wikipedia, the frenzy first kicked off after Lisa from the K-pop group Blackpink was spotted with a Labubu keychain on her bag. The obsession has only grown from there. People are turning into Labubu collectors, and like we just saw, people are down to spend hundreds of dollars on these monsters. There's limited edition ones, vintage ones, Labubu blind boxes. And those are actually a critical part of the strategy. See, Labubus have benefited from many of the same marketing tactics that made Stanley Cups go viral last year. Think of the limited edition drops that we saw with Stanley Cups, or that we've seen with brands that have been revived like Crocs. We now see the exact same thing happening with Labubus. Why? Because it creates this feeling of scarcity. Like you have to go out and buy more
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me pause this right here because Stanley Cups is not on the same level as Labubus because first of all, as far as I'm aware, Stanley Cups were tested for lead and they were trending for like a fucking month. They were trending for a fucking month in like 2020. And Labubus aren't filled with fucking lead or they're not toxic. They're just like once you collect them, like I think for most people it's like really hard to not collect them at all or just not collect them at all completely, just want to get a whole set because that's just how addiction works. And yes, addiction is harmful, but it's not deadly harmful to the point you're dying from just touching it, which cannot be said with Stanley Cups because Stanley Cups literally give you cancer, and I don't know that many people who literally still have Stanley Cups at all anymore. Also, let me search up something real quick. Also, hold on, I'm reading something. Okay, sorry. I do agree that this does capture feelings of like scarcity. But the thing is that this isn't scarcity because with scarcity you do actually, despite like wanting these like thoughts and feelings of and needs of like wanting unlimited things, you actually do save yourself time and money because when okay, the definition of scarcity is the unlimited want and the limited want for a product in that has like limited resources. Labubu is not a limited resource. You can literally go out to literally Pop Mart to any other store or just order online and you can get it like right there. It's not, and also like even then like the whole point of it is just because you want something, you have to save it. You have to save your money. That's what scarcity is. So I don't think this woman's like using the right terms here because she's talking about scarcity in more of a sense where it's unwanted and it's unlimited and like you want to like use it all the time. Like she talks about in a way where like you can't like save up, which or like you can't save money at all or like be like economically smart about your finance choices when that's wrong. Again, scarcity is not, that's not, I think she's just reading I think she's just reading the definition, not knowing what it actually means. But smart people will tell you that it's just having the wants of limited resources. So you just save up, like you save your money, you save your time for that. It says want, not actually going out there and buying something. You can like if someone had like 40 pairs of new sneakers and it was cheap, like you would like each pair costs like unrealistically, right? In a hypothetical sense, right? It costs like $2 each pair of shoes. Each pair of 40 shoes, right? Realistically, that's not actually gonna happen, but one person would buy one pair of shoe, and that'll be it, because spending that much money for 40 pairs of other shoes is ridiculous, because really you only really need one. You really, at the end of the day, you really only need one. You don't want the rest of the 40. You're trying to save up, you're trying to make money. And therefore it's not a limit, and it is, in a sense, it is a limited source, because those are like really cheap shoes. They're $2. But you really just only want one pair of shoes. That's an example of consumerism. But if you wanted to buy all 40 pairs, that's not scarcity. That's not scarcity, because then your wants are unlimited for a limited resource. That makes no sense. Sorry, that just really bothered me. I had to correct her on that, because come on now.
Or you're gonna miss out. If you haven't already, watch my video on how FOMO culture keeps us poor to really dive deeper into that whole topic. And it's the same thing with blind boxes. Not knowing what's inside creates this sense of excitement. There's a psychology concept called variable reward systems, and the idea is that we get hooked to activities that provide us unpredictable rewards. When we don't know if our blind box is gonna have that special labubu that we want, we are flooded with anticipation and desire, and when we open the box, we either get disappointment that feeds more into the desire, or we get this rush of pleasure for having the labubu that we want, and then it feeds right back into desire. This leads to many just buying more and more blind boxes so that they don't miss out on the item that they really want. Now, we'll dive more into the psychology of collectibles as well, but it's important to realize that what's driving the labubu obsession right now is not new. It's not new.
I'm sorry. Pause. Rewind. Let me just go right here real quick.
This leads to many just have disappointment filled with anticipation and desire. And when we open the box, we either get disappointment that feeds more into the desire.
Okay, yeah, sorry. I had to rewind because I had to remember what I wanted to say. This is wrong. Getting a blind box does not increase your chance of quite literally getting the product you want. It's like pulling out money for a lottery ticket. Your chances are 1 in like 30. Actually, no, sorry, 1 in 90, because you're not gonna get this. How many brands of fucking Labubus are there? Sorry, let me see. Okay. There's 300 different Labubus. So I'm wrong. Excuse me. Your chances of getting a free ultra rare fucking legendary Labubu is 1 in 300. 1 in 300. Think about that real quick. That is so, like, you are not going to get like whatever fucking Labubu you want, because even then, dividing 300 by half, excuse me, let me see how much it is. That is 150. So getting, like, so literally, if you want to get, like, out of all 300 Labubus and your main target is getting a specific Labubu, that is like 1 in 150 Labubus. That is still a lot. That is still by the hundreds. That's still by the hundreds. Out of all 300. And even then, that's still a lot. That is still a lot of chances. So you would have to constantly overconsume and constantly, like, if you buy a blind box, you would probably get the same Labubu thrice. Probably 5 times even, 7. 15 out of 300 if you're lucky. Shit. Sorry, if you're unlucky. That's what I meant to say. But you're probably really lucky to get whatever Labubu you want, which which most people really want, the ultra rare legendary Labubu. That would probably be like, mind you, a lot of Labubus, like specifically posted by like official market websites, cost, and like I've mentioned this earlier, it costs hundreds to even thousands of dollars. So you could be buying like a blind box a blind Labubu box for like $100, and you would have to re-roll that chance again to buy another box if you don't get the Labubu you want. And you would just be wasting money. You would quite literally be gambling. So saying that buying a blind box would increase your chances from 0% to like 15 is so wrong, because, mind you, again, that's a 15% chance out of 300 Labubus from a ultra rare legendary Labubu, which is 1 in 150% out of 300. Sorry, wait, no, I did that wrong. Which is 1% out of 150 from 300 Labubus. Sorry, it's just this math is like really pissing me off, because this really does not make any sense. This person, I don't understand.
Pleasure for having the Labubu that we want, and then it feeds right back into desire. This leads to many just buying more and more blind boxes so that they don't miss out on the item that they really want. Now we'll dive more into the psychology of collectibles as well, but it's important to realize that what's driving the Labubu obsession right now is not new. It's not new, but it's certainly effective. Recently, it was reported that London's fashion retail scene was reselling certain Labubus for $1,000. And the Labubu rise has led to Pop Mart beating profit expectations and making $427 million in 2024, which seems like a ridiculous amount of money made by just selling monster dolls. But it's less surprising when you realize how many Labubus people are buying. Armies of these expensive gremlins. And while of course people can spend where they want, it does strike me as really crazy to spend so much money on dolls that are likely going to be out of style, out of fashion in just a year. And then what? It's going to be clutter. It's going to be trash.
Could you use up to $800? Find it at BioLife. Up to $800 is waiting for you. Just donate plasma, get paid for each donation the same day, then treat yourself and treat your friends. Schedule your appointment today.
There isn't a utility to Labubus beyond being a Labubu. Oh yeah? Says who? I, for one, love my Labubu. Oh geez, it's my arch nemesis Hat Kara. It's the version of Kara who is awful at money and spends way too much on hats. And Labubus now. I am a Labubu gal. Of course you are. But come on, you have to admit that Labubus don't have a real functional use. I mean, they're just a status item. Like when this craze is all done, what are you gonna do with all your Labubus? Are you gonna stitch them up and sleep on them? You know what? Maybe I will, okay? Who's to say that 300 Labubus all stitched together wouldn't make a very comfortable mattress? I think if you really wanted a comfortable mattress, you would go with something like Birch Living's mattress, which happens to be today's sponsor. Wait a second, did you just set me up for a brand segment? I did. I needed a way to get you to stop talking about Labubus for a minute. Plus, I wanted to talk about what is literally one of the comfiest mattresses I have ever owned. So I recently switched to Birch Living mattress, and genuinely, it makes me so excited to go to sleep right now because of how comfortable I feel. The mattress is plush and breathable, and I feel like I have less back pain now. I specifically used to wake up with this lower back pain when it was around my time of the month, and I just accepted that as part of life. I figured that was normal, but I have yet to have any really good materials or deliver right to you. Know my content better than Pop for a Labubu collectible. I be on the bandwagon of spending $200 a pop for a Labubu collectible. I definitely am for buying a high quality mattress that can help you sleep better and that you'll use for the next decade of your life. If you have been in the market for a new mattress, typically the advice is to get a new one every 8.
Also, I just want to admit something. She admitted that like the average Labubu most likely costs around $200. So you can't increase your chances of getting a Labubu that you want, which is 1 in 150 chances, because that's most likely $200 worth of blind boxes that you would have to pay for. Like, it's like one per, like $200 per blind box out of a 1% chance to 150 to 300, not endless. It's, the possibility is endless, but it's limited. So you would have to be extremely rich to buy all 300 blind boxes to get a special rare Labubu, which is a problem of scarcity and economical choices, and on top of all, debt and all of that other shit. So you are wrong 100%. You are wrong about that. You are wrong. Sorry. I just wanted to say that because that really pisses me off. I don't like this video. I really don't.
Years Birch Living is having a Memorial Day sale right now, and if you use my why their scarcity-driven marketing is so effective. But what about the psychology behind why people are obsessed with collectibles in the first place? I mean, this isn't the first time that we have seen a trend like Labubus grip the public attention. We have seen Smiskies before, something I covered in my de-influencing your holiday wishlist video. We've seen Sunny Angels, which...
Okay. I also want to mention, I'm sorry. In the future, just so this kind of reminded me of like, her point earlier. This false point she tried to put up. Yes, maybe Labubus will probably die in over a year, but that still doesn't mean that their price can't be restored as a collectible, and selling them for a higher price would make you a lot more money. You can literally buy Labubu right now, and after a year of it dying, you can literally sell it for a higher stock price. Because if that costs a lot of, because if those angel things cost a lot of money, then sorry, hold on, it was zoned out. If that costs a lot of money, then so would so also would how it would be sold in later in the future. Does that make sense? So like if you buy a Labubu right now, whether it's cheap or not, you can literally just say, oh yeah, whether or not this is fake, it's a collectible item now, because back then when it was so higher priced, now it's a lot more affordable now. Or it's a lot more expensive now because of collectible. It's now a collectible item. People literally just have collectibles so they can sell it for to be rich. That's how it is. And unfortunately, in this economy, you would need to buy a lot of Labubus to be even a fucking billionaire. Okay? So, come on now, stop playing with me. Hold on, I gotta do something real quick. you would need to buy a lot of Labubus to be even a fucking billionaire. Okay, to be rich. It's how whether or not this is. My bad, I'm back. All right.
Something I covered in my de-influencing and holiday wishlist video. We've seen sunny angels, which I don't like at all. They look really creepy to me. We've seen jelly cats and squishmallows, and back in the day, we saw Beanie Baby collections running this world to the point where people were convinced that they were gonna outpace the stock market. People were feral.
Playing on iPhone? Now you can play Unlocked on PC with Google Play Games. Unlock bigger
About Beanie Babies, myself included. I was like 5, but I did have a lot of Beanie Babies. I think this history tells us 2 very important things about the Labubu trend. One is that Labubu's relevancy is on a countdown. I cannot envision a world where these are a trend that ends up staying. I think that Labubus will fall the same way that so many hyper-consumerist microtrends fall, which is eventually becoming clutter and this weird meme that we look back on. And maybe those who spent thousands of dollars on Labubus will flinch when they think about what that money could have been worth if they had like invested it instead. So that's
Sorry. I don't think we should be shaming people for whatever they fucking just like. We should not be shaming full-grown adults for whatever they decided to fucking buy in the first place, because that is their money. That is their decision that they chose to spend it on. That's their decision. That is their decision. It's not, and also, they're not gonna ponder back about this one day and be so upset. Like, they could still, they can literally still invest it right now. They can sell the Labubu for right now, sell at a higher price, and then invest it as soon as Labubu sells. Hello? They can literally get twice the amount but they can literally receive the twice amount of pay as they purchased Labubu for in the first place. Like, what? Are you serious? Bro, I'm sorry, this is actually pissing me off.
That's one thing that we can learn from history. The other is that humans love collectibles. What is it about us that makes us so into accumulating matching trinkets and displaying them together? When I researched this topic, I came across multiple publications drawing a very clear distinction between collecting and hoarding. Because on the surface, collecting could look something like hoarding, but the two are different. As this paper explains, collecting is a widespread normative human activity. The key difference is how symbolism plays into a collector's mindset. Collectors feel like the items that they are collecting somehow symbolize qualities about them. It might be cuteness, joy, a sense of humor, innocence, playfulness, or it could be ruggedness, cleverness, worldliness, a symbol to show that you're intelligent and you have depth. For Labubus, here's my read on what people are subliminally trying to express about themselves when they have one. Looking at a Labubu, there's this contrast that's going on, right? Ignore the face and you have this cuddly, adorable figure with cute clothes. Add the face in, and now you're looking at something a little more off-putting. It's mischievous, surprising, it has a slight edge to it. So think about what that ends up communicating. If you're collecting Labubus and therefore they're meant to represent a certain part of who you are, what are you trying to message? I think it's that, hey, I'm a cute person. I can look adorable and fashionable and tiny, but I'm not just cute. I've got a surprising side of me that is a little weird, a little rebellious, that doesn't play into all the cutesy norms. If we look back at Lisa from Blackpink, who helped kickstart this whole trend, her Vanity Fair video talking about Labubus shows a lot of this same characterization. She looks glamorous and cute, and yet has a unique and quirky side to her. What I'm getting at is that we use trinkets and collectibles as a way to express ourselves to others, and by doing so, we can also try to find some sense of community. Something that I found really interesting about the Labubu trend is this sense of, if you know, you know, type language used in the community.
I'm sorry, this is like actually, I can't watch this video anymore. It's actually really pissing me off. No, actually, it's probably just trending because, from Lisa, probably because, I don't know, she's an idol. She sings. She's popular. Like, what? What? Oh, so because in the Korean industry, the Korean idol industry, my fault. The fans are literally obsessed with whatever products most idols put out there. So if an idol's wearing makeup and a live stream and they're practicing on their face or whatever, fans are going to be running and looking for that same item. And so because now K-pop is like it's like basically consuming the internet now thanks to K-pop demon hunters. What do you fucking know? Everyone likes Labubus now. Come on now. Like, I'm sorry, I can't watch this video further. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna end this right here. But that had a lot to do with my item. That had a lot to do with my point though, right? Over-consumerism is eventually going to be a scam. And it's going to be a scam implanted by the government, because the government is always there, always watching. Anyways, all right, bye.